Hey you guys, welcome back. So in last week's video, I talked all about Alocasia, especially my Frydek. And at the time of that video, the Frydek had a little baby leaf that was still all rolled up. This is that little baby leaf. So I'm going to walk you guys through how I popped this off of the mom and replanted it in its own little pot. And bonus, while I was repotting that Frydek, I just so happened to find 2 baby Frydek bulbs. So they are sitting in this little moss pot here behind me. So we will have 3 new baby alocasias from that repotting. I also plan to put out a video this week on jewel orchid care. These guys here behind me. But I figured there was some questions about how to actually remove these off of the mom, so I figured I would use this time to answer that. Okay, so I will take you a few feet over to the planting mat. So Sven always needs to be the center of attention. So step 1 would be to remove the Sven off the planting mat. Now step 2, we're going to take a look here at this alocasia that I had showed you last week. So it's been putting off this little baby. Here I'm turning around to show you. That leaf is the one that was curled up last week. And there you can see the little baby stem poking out of the soil. So our goal today is to dump this pot, loosen the soil enough to carefully and gently remove that new baby so that we can repot it and have a brand new baby Frydek. So we're just knocking the pot here, gently massaging and squeezing it to help loosen any roots off of the pot. Want to do as little damage as possible. Now, those are some fine looking roots, if I do say so myself. Now, I'm again just gently squeezing, massaging, knocking some of that dirt out, loosening up the root ball so that I can do as little damage to those beautiful little roots that I've worked so hard on. And I like to, it's similar to like untangling hair, honestly. Like you just start from the bottom, gently pull. This is where it starts to get really satisfying when you start to pull on strands and you can actually see them pulling out from across the pot. It's very satisfying. So we're finally starting to loosen it up here. Yeah, you can see that one coming out. Now again, we're just reaching up into the bottom, loosening up that soil as much as possible. Just trying to really loosen it up. And oh my goodness, treasure, here we go. 2 alocasia bulbs, fantastic. So we're gonna save those for later so I can show you. Now there is that little baby. So what you're gonna do once you got that soil loose enough now is slowly pry it back and see if it's gonna give you any resistance. You will hear a crack when you actually separate it off the mom. Again, go slow, be gentle, because you do not want to break it off too far off of the mom. You want a really clean crack off of the main bulb. So here we are. There is my clean crack. You can see perfect circle. And there is the root. So if you had accidentally cracked it up higher, you would have lost that whole root, and I don't even know if you'd be able to save that plant. But there we go. Perfect. Great little separated baby. 1 really nice root, 1 smaller root. So that's awesome. We'll put that aside. I'll show you here where you can see where it cracked off the mom. Yeah, you can see that white spot, and now I've shoved dirt over the hole, so now we can't see. But again, all the roots look fantastic. This plant is so insanely healthy. So here we are, jump cut to that Frydek now being repotted in a new small little pot that'll house those roots well. And we are dealing with the bulbs now. So there's our 2 little bulbs we found. Here's our pre-moistened sphagnum moss. And here is our little propagation vessel for our greenhouse for later with a nice little lid. IKEA makes the most convenient things for the kitchen that we can then repurpose for plants. So just shoving some sphagnum into this pot to make sure we have a good base. Again, we want it a little bit deep so that our roots can grow. Here I'm showing you the bulb. Now that long bottom part, this little pointy top part is the way that goes up. Long skinny part goes down. That's where your roots will come from. So I'm popping that in. Same thing with this guy. Pop that one in the sphagnum. And then just make sure that they're really nicely in there. Nothing's gonna move around, pop out, have an issue. There we go. And there they are, all ready to go into the greenhouse with that lid on, just to help hold the humidity in. Kind of like a little prop box. Now, this is my favorite part, labeling. So I'm popping a little Frydek label on each one. Not super required, but when you're type A, it is nice to know. And having 250 plus houseplants and a lot of propagations, I can't tell you how many things I have going right now that I have no idea what they are. So this is always helpful to have things labeled. That looks cute. Very nice. Excellent. Ready for the greenhouse. Now Sven is back because again, he has to be the #1 most attended to plant. Shoo him out of there. Okay, so while I was filming, I realized I have killed back this Limesinger Alocasia. They have leaves kind of like the Colocasias, and I just find that no matter what I do, I always lose the leaves. So I snipped these 2 ugly leaves off earlier today. So I figured, why not show you how I overwinter these when I've killed them back. So you can see this is a massive pot that it came in. This Limesinger I only just picked up this year. Didn't bother repotting it because it was just a little Limesinger. It's like a Colocasia. I half expected to just only have it temporarily, but I actually really like the pop of color. So same thing, we're just loosening up that root ball. As I'm doing this, I'm really noticing that a lot of these roots suck, and it's 100% from the pot size. The garden center that had planted this planted it in way too large of a pot, and as we know, when you've got way too much soil based on your plant volume, it'll sit wet and heavy around the roots and just rot them. So you can totally see tons of rotted out, stringy, dead, yucky roots just hanging off of that bulb. So here's our few good stiff ones. You can see those. And here is our disgusting, nasty, gnarly ones that we need to remove. So jump cut ahead, get Sven back out of there, but jump cut ahead, I've now cleaned the soil off for the most part and cut off all the ugly roots, as well as even just gently popped off those 2 top bits, gently. I just popped off where the old leaves connected down to this main bulb. So I did that because they'll rot off anyways, so you can let them rot and then slew them off or gently pop them off yourself. So now I've got a much, much smaller pot. This is just a 4-inch, and I'm just curling those roots up in there, popping some sphagnum around them, and just, again, pre-moistened sphagnum, making sure. If you've got really long roots, you can usually just kind of coil them up in the pot like I did there. And we're just nestling this in. We're keeping the tip of that bulb out of sphagnum. We're letting that little tip of it breathe. It's actually already got a few new little baby growth points going too. So really, really healthy little plant still. Definitely worth my saving efforts. So here we are. Now we've got it in there. You can see that little top bit exposed and a couple little growth points you can barely see there, but little tiny green nubs. And now here's what I personally do. I cover it in some stuff to help retain humidity. Poke some holes just so that it can still breathe, but then I don't have to re-moisten the sphagnum like every other day. Again, my greenhouse is super humid, but it does have grow lights. So the sphagnum dries out. Now, once that thing starts to poke out a little growth, all I do is just split the saran wrap over it to allow that new growth point to pop out. Now here, I've got the lid in my greenhouse, and there's those little baby Frydek bulbs looking all cute. We'll slide that in there. And there we go, a visually appealing way to propagate your little baby bulbs. Plus, super convenient. You can just slide it open to check on them, rehydrate the moss if you need to, anything like that. And as they start to grow out, you can just remove them, pop them the exact same way I just did the other bulb in a little pot with some sphagnum. Now here is that cute little baby Frydek we just separated. He's sitting in the greenhouse, ready to be his best self with the nice humidity from the fountain, beautiful grow lights. He's going to thrive in here. as he grows. Okay, so that was an easy process to get yourself a brand new baby alocasia, as well as a pretty simple process for overwintering those alocasia that die right back. While I explained it last time, I feel like it is easier to see it being done on camera. Maybe it just makes you feel a little more confident. So as always, if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments down below. If you like this content, you can subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put out a new video every week. And definitely follow me on Instagram at Planterior Decorator. It's definitely the app that I use the most, so you can reach out to me there as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, you guys.